Some people don't test your love because they enjoy playing games. They test it because life has taught them that everyone eventually leaves. And sometimes, the greatest way to love someone isn't by making promises. It's by quietly proving you meant them. Welcome to StoryMun, where ordinary moments become unforgettable stories, and every ending reminds us that hope is never truly lost. Now, let's step into today's story. The first time I met Grace Monroe, she apologized for being late before she'd even sat down. Traffic wasn't the reason. She'd stopped to help an elderly woman whose groceries had fallen across a parking lot. That told me more about her than any dating profile ever could. We met for coffee in Burlington, Vermont, and before long, we were laughing like old friends. For the first time in years, love didn't feel complicated. It felt peaceful. Over the next few weeks, we explored bookstores, walked by the lake, and argued over who made the best pancakes. Everything felt effortless. Almost too effortless. Then one rainy evening, while we watched the sunset from my porch, Grace became unusually quiet. She wrapped both hands around her mug and whispered, "You'll leave like everyone else." I looked at her. "What makes you so sure?" She smiled sadly. "My dad left when I was 6. My fiancé left 2 months before our wedding. My best friend moved away without a goodbye." She laughed, but it sounded more like heartbreak. People always leave. I wanted to tell her she was wrong. Instead, I simply reached over and held her hand. "I'm here tonight." She nodded. "But tomorrow?" I didn't answer, because I knew words wouldn't change what life had taught her. The following months weren't perfect. Grace pushed me away whenever life became difficult. She cancelled plans, ignored my messages, even told me once, "You deserve someone easier to love." I smiled. "I'm not looking for easy." One snowy afternoon, I arrived at her apartment with soup after she'd caught the flu. She frowned. "I told you not to come." "I know. So why are you here?" "Because caring about someone shouldn't depend on convenience." For the first time, she cried in front of me. "I've spent years waiting for people to prove me right." "And did I?" She shook her head. "No. A little every day. You proved me wrong." A year later, we returned to the same porch where she'd whispered those words. She slipped a small box into my hands. Inside was a silver key. Confused, I looked at her. She smiled through happy tears. "It's the key to my house." Then she quietly said, "I finally stopped waiting for you to leave." I wrapped my arms around her. "You know the best part?" "What?" "You were never too difficult to love." "You were just waiting for someone who wouldn't give up." Funny, isn't it? The people who seem hardest to love are often the ones who've had to survive the most. Sometimes healing doesn't begin with a grand gesture. It begins with someone who quietly keeps showing up, even after the walls go up. If this story touched your heart, tell us in the comments. Has someone ever stayed when you expected them to leave? Your story might become the hope someone else needs today. Thank you for spending these moments with StoryMun. Until our next story, may you never underestimate the quiet power of simply staying. Sometimes, that's the most beautiful way to say, "I'm not going anywhere."